Live on location, LA, California. We got one of the GOATs of the women's basketball, WNBA legend. We got Chamique Holdsclaw in the building, Tennessee's own. Christ the King from New York with our boy L.O. Check it out.
The first question we always start off with when we ask everybody is like, when you first got to WNBA, like, who was the first person to bust your ass?
Oh man, the first player to give it to me when I got to the league, probably Cynthia Cooper. Man, because, I had a chance to watch, show swoops in college and watch Tina play. But Cynthia Cooper was overseas. She was like hidden. Not too many people knew about her. Man, she came with those European moves. And y'all know when y'all play, you guys play USA basketball, right, sure. Yeah. You play Europeans, it's like a different step, Yeah. Man, she was I was doing drive-bys on defense. Like she was just going by me, but I had to respect her. You look at her, I was like, she's old, man. I'm gonna blow by her, but nah. Mm-mm.
I couldn't believe like they got her all them on the Comets team. I was like, they cheating.
Man,
right? Yeah.
I ain't never really heard of Tina Thompson, but when I seen her play, I was like, she double. Then you got Swoops and Cooper. It's like
it wasn't fair.
It's like they cheated. I don't understand why they was winning championship. You went to Christ the King. Like when I came out, Christ the King, best player was Omar Cook. And I know, like, we know Lamar went to Christ the King and all that stuff, but like you was like a big deal. Like, what made you choose Christ the King out of all the schools that was basketball heavy that was in the city?
Because it was like the culture, you thought about all the male players that came through here. When you looked at the women, on the women's side, everybody was going D1 to top schools, winning a state championship like every year. So at first my grandma was like, heck no, you ain't going there, because I had to travel an hour on the bus to get to school. Yeah, so she's like, all right, you got to promise. You're going to get up on your own, make sure you got your uniform, because we had to wear the uniforms.
Yeah. That's commitment. That's commitment.
Man, dude, I grew up in the inner city, Astoria Projects. Do you know how I got teased coming with that uniform every day?
Take the bus or whatever on there. Yeah.
I used to take off the shoes before I got home. But it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. I won 4 state championships. Made a little name for myself, and also got to see like Lamar come up, Eric Barkley. Just the male culture, play against those guys. I got some stitches here from them roughing me up in practice. But funny story, I remember Lamar, right? Because we were the same height in high school when he first came. So we'd go play pickup and lefty. The next summer, I saw him in DS Park. It was like a summer league. He couldn't play. He was like, oh, my knees are hurting. We come back to school, this dude like 6'8".
That same thing Ron said.
Ron definitely said the same thing.
Oh my God, he's 6'8". Just grew on us.
And he already was like a guard dribbling and stuff, so it just made it
just nice. And he those type of players, you see that, it made me want to work on my game.
They inspired you.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to have the handle. I didn't want to go inside and play. They always try to play me at the 4. I was like, all right, nope. Get the rebound. I'm gonna dribble the ball, put it up. I'm like going coast to coast out there on the court.
That's how they try to do me in high school, make me like get under the goal all the time. Like, no, I'm finna grab the ball and
go. Yeah. I saw somebody. I remember seeing your high school highlights. Man, the gym, those people, man, it's packed. They was up in it. It was like the Rucker. It's crazy.
And I used to watch them N1 mixtapes and used to see the culture, like how everybody used to be in the crowd and how everybody into the game. Like, it was like, them was inspiring to me to see New York culture. Through the like the N1 tapes.
How did it feel for you, like, to come there? Like you said, you got LO, the history of the school. You win 4 state championships, become like your name is as big, if not as bigger, than LO and the guys like Artest, some of the best players in New York. I'm in Chicago. I'm knowing who Chamique Holdsclaw is, on the female side. Then so how I know, and I know I played New York. I know how it is in New York. So when you get halfway decent, it's over. Like you was for real the GOAT. So I know it was like, how was your games? How did that look when you walk into the gym?
Man, it was packed everywhere we went. It was just like so much love and support. And so imagine that on like we're in the Catholic school league. We're going around. We're traveling different states. We're on the plane. But coming back to, where it all started, coming back to your hood, it was like, man, I had all the dope boys, everybody up in there at the games. They like, man, Mique, what do you need? You need some new shoes? My grandma's like, you better not take anything from anybody. But it was crazy, you know. Then you got Coach Summitt, Geno's, and them coming to my house, you know.
Bringing them to the hood.
Man, but we had like, I remember I saw Coach K there, Bobby Crimmins. Like, we had some good guys in the area, so we would get these coaches. But, you know, when I was younger, I didn't know. I remember going up to Bobby Crimmins like, are you going to recruit me?
Yeah.
He was there for Ed Elisma that played at Georgia Tech. I'm going to recruit me. I didn't understand when I was younger because I played with the boys that, oh, you can't go to ABCD camp. You know, I'm on Sonny, I can come to camp. Can I come? And he's like, well, you can't. It's a boys' camp. We're going to try to do something for the girls. And I'm like, well, I play with all the guys. I can play. Yeah. So, you know, those type of like things were in my head. You know, I was one of the guys out there playing, you know, taking those hits. It was hard. And they got big quick. When I could play with Ron and them for the longest until he was about 15. And he gave me an elbow to the chest.
Yeah, we talked about some of his injuries he put on people after he played, because he's a big boy.
Man was taking vitamins and amino acids as a kid. That's just not normal. That's why them boy bones are so strong.
Ron's thing he did on Showtime, I loved it so much. I watched it like 3-4 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
that was dope.
I know you from Queens, and Ron is your boy. You grew up around
Queens, yo.
Yeah.
Queens, son.
You from Queens.
Yo.
So, when you watched that documentary or you watched that thing on Showtime that he had, like the memories, what did you like it, and what did you think about it?
Man, first thing when you started, Mobb Deep was like everything for us.
Right.
So when that song came on, and I was like, as soon as I saw him, I said, Ron, not the Mobb Deep. Then I didn't know Capone was his cousin. You know, I used to see all these guys. I was like, is your cousin? Are you serious? But it just took me back, man. It took me back to his dad. And, you know, his dad always texts me. Shout out to Mr. Artest.
Yeah.
Great guy. Always was with Ron. And I told Ron that day, I said, you know what? We go through challenges and things with our parents or whatever, grow up in tough situations. I said, man, you had a dad, a black dad, that rode for you. Mr. Artest with that stringy backpack would be like everywhere in the hood. Hey, Mique, what's up? Support his sons,
looking
you know?
just like him.
Looking just like that whole family, man.
He told us a story that he used to have to back you up, and you was the starting center for the team.
Yeah, our boys and girls club.
He was nicer than him.
He like Mique, she was nice.
I was 3 years.
Son.
I'm 3 years older, and I started playing with the guys, and I just know they would start trying to like foul me because they couldn't stop me. So Ron came up in there that day. He was like, anybody else try to hit him or beat him up? Man, ain't nobody touched me.
You good after that then.
Ain't nobody touched me. But yeah, I told him too, if that stuff happened in Detroit, all these, you know, being from New York, all the media is hitting me up. And a lot of people say a lot of different things about Ron. I'm always like, he's one of the most intelligent guys. That man's smart.
Yeah.
You know, he has his like quirkiness or whatever, a little eccentric. But his family's intelligent. You know, his brother Daniel is super smart. His other brother is a lawyer now. Yeah. It's a good family. But, you know, we all have our little trials and tribulations.
He loved hard.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He loved hard. He loved his friends. He loved them real hard. And he's just like that. He always been like that.
That's what's up.
When you was coming out, like, you was the biggest thing. Like I say, we heard across the land, all the way to Illinois, to California. Everybody knew who you was on the female side. And you could choose any college in America to go to. Like, what made Tennessee is the spot to go, or was it almost somebody else?
At first, Tennessee's on my list because you think I want to play for the best. You know, in my eyes, Coach Pat Summitt was the best. But, you know, my grandmother also wanted that structure and that discipline. Every coach that came to my house, Geno's, the Linduns, all these coaches promised me things. They promised me that I would start, that I would be a star player. I looked at Coach Summitt, I said, how many minutes I'm going to play? She's like, well, you got to work. You got to go out there and get it. One thing I can promise you, if you come here, you're going to graduate from college, you know? Yeah. And I was like, come on now, like, serious? Like, I'm the number one player. You're going to tell me this? Well, Geno said I could play immediately. But I saw something in her eyes. I saw the connection with her and my grandmother, and I was sold. I was sold on Tennessee, but it was hard. You know, people look at the success. they don't understand going from New York City to going to Knoxville. Right. The cows, ain't no subway. You know, I have a car. Culturally, you know, it just really took me back. It took me some time. I never played for a female coach, a woman coach. It was always a male voice in my ear, and that competitiveness. It was something different. Now here's a woman yelling at me, getting on my. I didn't know how to take that, you know. And you know, ultimately I bought in because I knew she wanted the best for me, you know.
Coach Pat Summitt, like, you know, she's historic. You can't even put in words to give her the props and the glory of what she deserves. Like, right. What do Coach Pat Summitt mean to you?
Man, she created like a culture for real. I mean, she from, you know, she used to sit down with me. She's like, I'm from the hood too, okay? I grew up on tobacco farm, dirt poor. You know, I used to drink Boone's Farm. That's how far she took it back. And she's just a hard worker, you know. She built that program, and she built it about respect, you know, for each other, you know, accountability, and rolling up sleeves and getting it done. You know, she didn't really take a lot of excuses, you know, and she's tough, but that was the way she was brought up. So, you know, I'm glad that my path crossed with hers. Every player that's played there, you know, I think about myself, the Candaces, some other top players all call, I'm a transfer. I hate her. You leave Tennessee. And it's like, oh my God, I miss her so much.
Yeah, I want to
be around. Gonna teach you life, and just kept it like so real. I was on a plane once, got off the plane. This lady waited. She is like, oh my God, let me tell you this Pat Summitt story. One day she got on the plane, and I think she had missed a flight or whatever. So she just sits back here with us regular people, and I'm looking at the lady like, you're not regular. And she goes, all of a sudden Pat just gets to say, hey, these 3 rows in front of me, and behind me, 3 rows in front of me, get everybody drinks, whatever they want, and pay for it. But that's who she was. Yeah. She taught us about looking people in the eye, giving good handshakes. Yeah. She was just amazing.
Because you never had a coach like get on you the way that, like, even if you did something right, it's like, I gotta get on you too.
Man, all the time. You know that coach that's and then she get pissed off. You respect her so much, and she's fling the clipboard at me. I'm ducking. The New York in me want to jump up and go like attack her. My teammates are like jumping on me. Nah. Then we hit the bus, and you know, she calls you to come sit next to her, put that arm on you like, I love you, you know, like, I gotta push you, I gotta get the best out of you, not just as a basketball player. I gotta help you with the game of life. And Coach Summitt has blessed me with so much knowledge, and like, it's stuff that I carry today with me. I was thinking about it the other day, you know, going through life. I'm like, man, you know, kind of in a funk. Gotta remember, you know, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Right. Just, you know, gotta push through, be resilient. And I got a lot of that from home with my grandmother. But you know, what age was that? 18 to 21. You know how you're growing. You away from home, and to have that type of leadership in my life was like real important. You know, not everybody gets to, you know, be in the NBA when they're age.
Right. Straight out. So talk about playing with the 3 Miques. How was that? Like, y'all was a legendary, you know, trio, and everybody did their thing there. And I was like, that was the first time I really think I got into like women's college basketball, because y'all was doing it so big and so crazy. Yeah. It was like every year they just running them off. It was like, you gotta watch.
Yeah. We had with Chamique, you know, she grew up in Lincolnshire.
Yeah, Stevenson.
And then went to Texas. Then we had Chamique from Ohio. But that was like that real black girl magic. It was kind of dope if you think about it. And I probably was the one to say it to them. I'm like, yo, we got names like Chamique, Samika up in Knoxville, Tennessee, doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? We done created a moniker, the 3 Miques, doing this. And it was something special. When we were in it, man, it was just an unselfishness. That's why I didn't really understand how like some teams and players can't get along. Yeah. Everybody wants to be the person. We knew our roles. You know, we knew who needed the ball. We knew who was our defensive stoppers. We were a unit, and it was like probably some of the most fun that I had playing basketball. You know, 3 Miques, man. I remember one time, you know, Chamique just play hard, 100 miles per hour.
All the time.
Coach Summitt had to pull me to the side because we would just throw lobs. We were just way more athletic. And I threw a lob, and she hit the back of the basket, boom. And Coach Summitt said, you know, if you throw it, she's going to try to get it. She's like, you're going to kill her. Don't throw that ball to her anymore. But that's the way we just played, man. We just didn't care. We wanted to go out there and dominate and embarrass people, you know, just by competing.
Hey, hold up. I didn't know that Spike Lee tried to cast you and he got game. What was that about? What was you going to do in that?
Man, I didn't know. I was doing auditions for that, loving basketball, too.
Well, they was, look, like, and so the NCAA hated on you.
Man, yeah.
NCAA, boy, I tell you.
My acting chops were not up to par. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm up in there like, okay, walk down the street.
They threw me in the fire, so I definitely feel. Seeing y'all in college, like you and Keisha Sales and Rebecca Lobo and, you know, all them, it made me pay attention. Then it made me pay attention to the history of, like, oh, it's Elisa Leslie out there, Don Staley, all these players. Then they create the WNBA. You know, they didn't have the WNBA, they just created, and y'all coming out after winning all them championships. What did you think about the WNBA? Did you think it was like the level of all levels? It was like you playing with the legends that you always heard about?
Man, I'm in college, and, you know, our team, we probably had the best players on the court every time, so we playing against people. It's like, whatever. We can go by her. I get to the league, you know, this is the best at their school. Everybody's good. Everybody belongs there. So, you know, I had to mentally focus like a little bit more. But it was fun. It was just adjusting to being a pro. It was new, not just for me, it was new for the league, as, you know, on its own. You know, we were having 3-hour practices twice a day. Twice a day.
The WNBA?
Man, yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I thought it was only overseas, actually.
No. Because a lot of the coaches came from college side, and that's how college was operating, you know, 3 hours. And so here we are, bodies beat down. People were coming from overseas. I'm like, I'm tired. Like, this is too much. And finally, I know some people always talk about equality. They get a little bit mad because, you know, they're like, oh, the NBA guys are coming in, whatever, taking the jobs. But that's who really taught us how to be pros. I remember I was in D.C., Coach Darryl Walker, that's my boy, he took the job. And he was mad, right? He was like, you know, oh, man, Michael, because Michael Jordan was our president at the time. He was like, Michael called, man, they fired coach. I got to come coach y'all motherfuckers. And he's mad. And he was like, listen, we ain't going to do these goddamn 3-hour practice. Hour and a half, y'all focus, get this shit done, and so I can get to the motherfucking golf course. And that's what it was. I was like, man, we have never been talked to that way. And I'm sitting there, but he was right. You lock in, you focus, your legs are fresh, and you're ready to play. And then you start to see that was something that spread throughout the league. So it really like helped the players, and I guess gave us a little bit more power too. You know what I'm saying?
Call that 3 hours fake hustle.
Man,
after about 2 hours, you tripping now. You ain't really doing nothing.
You ain't doing nothing. You know, out there.
To get drafted, like you see the men get drafted. You know, like after, you know, when you get to college, you're like, it's not no WNBA. You know, and then they create one, and to get drafted, I know how it felt for us to get drafted as a female, like going through that whole process. Like, how did that feel for you?
Man, it was like a dream come true. Growing up in New York, you know, I used to write letters as a kid. My grandmother had them. So once I got drafted, they said, #1 pick, Chamique Holdsclaw. I'm excited. It's in New York. My grandmother, when I walk from the podium, gives me a note. And it says, when I grow up, I wrote, I'm going to be the first woman to play in the NBA. And this was a letter I wrote to my younger self. And I sit there and I look, and, you know, I was just like, wow, now we have a WNBA. I get to live my dream and inspire all these young ladies. Because for me coming up, you know, I used to hear about Cheryl Miller, you know, Reggie's sister. She was nice. Coach Summitt had to go to the archives to show me the tape. I had an opportunity to watch Dawn. You know, I was her USA teammate and learn to respect her. But I couldn't cut on the TV and see all these players, you know. Now I'm like, man, they're going to put our games on ESPN. Like, all these little girls are going to look up to us, and you're going to be able to shift the culture.
Yeah, shift the culture. USA team, that USA team you played for, these is like the greats of all greats.
Like y'all was
loaded. Like, I'm talking about y'all winning by 60s and 70s, but y'all was loaded though. Just to get the opportunity to just play with them, even though the competition y'all playing against wasn't up to par, y'all was way ahead of them. But just to get the opportunity to play with people that you looked up to and you've seen before, you admire their game. Like, how was the USA experience?
Man, I soaked it up. I think the person that's taught me the most was Teresa Edwards. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she's maybe a 5 or 6-time Olympian, you know. She carried the torch when it was in Atlanta that year when they had the Olympics there. Just an amazing player, student of the game. She was tough on me, you know. Cheryl Swoops, another one that was tough on me. She made me like I was her Coke runner. I had to bring a Coke. You know, your youngest player on the team. It was almost like hazing me. Make sure before the game you have my Coke.
Coca-Cola.
One game I didn't have the Coke. She mad at me, trying to, you know, bitch with me and stuff. But I learned a lot. I learned what hard work was. I learned what sisterhood was. I learned trying to have your own identity also, because, you know, watching these players, everybody was kind of like different. But when I was coming up, you know, we watched Michael Jordan, we want to emulate him. We watch all these greats. Yeah, I watched the Lisas and the Cheryls, but you try to come in. I didn't know. You probably experienced that. You come into the league, you don't know what to do, so you try to like follow with these other players. All right, everybody's using this stylist, right? Oh, let me go with them too.
Chains, cars, jewelry, the whole nine.
Right, you just following, you know. Yeah. And then it hit you one day, and I think it was that USA trip when I was like, man, I gotta figure this out. I gotta be my own person, you know, because each one of them are different. You can't be a follower anymore. I was at that point trying to establish like who Chamique was gonna be.
It's interesting listening to you say how Swoops, you know, was your OG, and she was having you get a Coca-Cola for every game. Like, but that shows the, you know, the difference of times. Like when we came in, we had to do that. Stop at Burger King and bring Burger King sandwiches or whatever. Get a newspaper for guys or whatever. Like, I don't know as far as the women's, the WNBA. Do you see that still in the game now, and the humbleness? Like for you coming in, you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You the GOAT at that point. You got everything you got going on, but you still humble enough to go and get the Coca-Cola every game. And when you don't, Cheryl gonna bitch at you, and you gonna still be cool, and it's whatever. But like, I know I see it in the men in the NBA. It's not the same.
Nah, it's not the same.
Yeah,
in the
like,
These
like,
kids is different.
Like,
cut you out.
Bitch, you what? Like who? Like come on, man. Like
Nah, man.
Word.
Nah, it's a little ego. It's just the kids are different, you know. I try not when I'm speaking to them, like they're like coaches that hit me up, talk to them. I try not to give them now. I'm giving that back when I played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, it's just respect. You know, these kids don't know pioneers of the game.
That's
you know,
we
used to know. Like we was talking about that. Like, oh man, I know everything. Oh, you know, you got the Jason Kidd with the crossover. You got the Kevin Jackson. Two-step Tim Hardaway. I used to practice these moves, you know what I'm saying?
All the time.
And these kids don't even know that stuff.
They playing Fortnite.
At all. They playing like, who is that?
Hey, man, they playing Fortnite, bro.
Man, this one kid told me, I was like, y'all play basketball, you practice, you know, by yourself a lot? And he was like, no, I'm with my team. I said, you know, you got practice by yourself. He said, I practice. I played a 2K. Yeah. And he goes, that's how I work on my game.
With no movement at all. Yeah, they believe in that.
The visualization.
That's crazy. I thought he was gonna say, the new thing for these young kids, like, no, I got a trainer. You know, everybody got a trainer. Everybody got a trainer.
You gotta get them a trainer though. Man. These days you gotta get you, because they not outside and we not outside how we used to be.
That's the difference though. Like, and I ain't hating on no trainers, because I got a lot of homeboys that train and do their thing. And shout out to y'all. But it's just, y'all know how we grew up, bro. We was on them playgrounds trying to copy what we saw.
So, right.
Playing all day, all night.
Carrying your ball, you know what I'm saying?
All day, all night.
From hood to
Mom
hood.
and them gotta yell at you, stop hitting that ball off my wall in there. Like, I'm sitting up against the wall, just shoot.
Man.
Like,
we had in the hallway, me and my brother, we had like a little Nerf.
Man,
we flying through the air, dunking on each other.
Jumping up
in that narrow hallway.
Little sticking on the wall jump. Yeah, we used to have to nail the sticker, because the sticker didn't even work to even stick it on there no more.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a good day.
I gotta ask you about Tamika Catchings. Mm-hmm. She was this shy girl in Tennessee coming in and seeing her playing with you in in Tennessee and having the career that she had, winning the championship, being an Olympic winner, being a Hall of Famer, like all that success, and seeing how confident she is in herself and everything. Man. Like you can see it on her, because I remember like Chamique catching, being the shy girl that didn't really want to talk or do nothing, and to see her all these years later and how good her career went, and to see how confident she's in herself now, it's like amazing. Like, speak on like how that is.
It's sports. It's the power of being supported, developing into who you are as a woman. Kind of what I talked about earlier, figuring out who you are. You know, Tamika, when she first came in as choir, I would think I was a host in college, you know, sharing stories, you know, about her background and things like that. And, you know, from day one, she was this very organized person, you know, worked hard, was still figuring out the game, you know. But just when you put in that type of effort, something positive is going to happen. And the nicest person, that's the thing, you know. When I look at her, and I always hit her up, man, I'm so proud of you, you know, like, man, like the things that you've been able to accomplish, you know, and also the fact that, you know, having a disability, you know, I know she spoke about being teased and things like that when she was younger, but you worked through that, you know, and one of the kindest people that I know. I've learned a lot just from like even watching her to, you know, put certain things in my life in the way that I touch people.
Yeah, her basketball game, like Miss Triple Double.
I know.
Like how like she took the Fever and won the championship, like and led them to that, like being everywhere on the court. I'm talking about defense, offense. When they need a three, she's not a 3-point shooter, but you need a three, she gonna hit the three. Like she was doing everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and winning that championship and just seeing where she came from to now is just like, man, that's love, because we grew up watching her.
No, she knows she's American Gladiator. I was
I seen that. I've been seeing her going through the obstacles and stuff. Yeah,
I was like, catch. I had ran into her, I guess like a day after I was in Indiana doing a program with the Fever, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, dang, after I retired, my knees were swollen, but she's still fit, still in shape, out there. So
so I want to know, like, you was one of the early, you know, first women to have your own signature shoe. You know what I'm saying? The BB
for Mique, shock.
Yeah, the BB
for Mique shock.
Like how was that? Was like that's legendary though.
Man,
with Nike and all, with the top, you know what I'm saying? The top dogs rocking with you.
It was just unbelievable, man. You know, I look back, because you know when you in it, and we can all probably say you're in it, you just don't like realize sometimes impact.
It's happening so fast.
It happens so fast, and you get old, and you look back, and you're like, man, like I got my own shoe.
That's a
you know
bar.
What I'm saying? Like my name is on it.
Yeah, like
you know. I never forget. I was we used to go hoop at the Run and Shoot in DC, right?
Right.
And you know, you talk trash. I grew up playing with guys, so they talk. And this dude had my shoes on, right? And he just talking hot mess to me. And I was like, man, motherfucker, you wearing my shoes. And then another dude was like, yeah, and you know that girl sizes too. So they was like, I never forget that. And I actually know who was in there. I think Joe Forte. Remember North Carolina?
Right,
I think he was in there that day. And everybody just started laughing, man. Because like, they were girl sizes, so he had to go.
Yeah, the girl size. Yeah, I remember with the girl size.
But, you know, I laughed about it. And I was like, that's respect, though. You know, he went to the ladies' wall to get that shoe.
That's crazy.
That's love.
And that's respect, though.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like Slam magazine, like you are one of the reasons that I'm so glad that I was part of a cover that was dope with the Slam magazine. Like your Slam magazine cover is one of the dopest Slam magazine covers I ever seen in Slam history. Like you with the New York Knicks jersey and the 23, like that was like you was like Wonder Woman.
With the micro minis, about 25
my God!
pounds.
Like we already thought you was the dopest, and then when you had the Slam cover, it was like you was GOAT status with that. Like what did it feel to like get that cover? And I know the appreciation that everybody showed for that cover. Like what was? Take me back in that moment of how you felt.
Man,
about
that was like really love. You know, when I was at Tennessee, you know, I didn't realize what it really meant that I won at that time 3 consecutive championships. It was like the first. And I guess the Slam cover was just like appreciation, you know. You know how it is. When we were young, I used to go get every Slam. Every time it like came out. So when they said, I think Coach Summitt might have came and said, you know, they want to put you in some magazine. And they said it's pretty popular. You're going to be the first woman. They said, I said, what? I called my friends back, and I was like, man, I'm doing Slam Magazine. I'm coming to New York. And I just would never forget, going there, being in the studio. I think before the photographer, I can't remember his name, but he's a really popular gentleman. Anyway, he shot like Lenny Kravitz the day before. He was telling me how Lisa Bonet was there. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is like super dope,
How was overseas for you? Because like I know this like overseas is different. Like I don't care where you go. Like what country you go to, it's different than anywhere in the United States. Like so, like how was the experiences overseas for you?
Oh man, actually, I loved playing abroad. I loved it. The first time I went, I think I went to go play in Korea. That was different. Because we had to like live in a dorm amongst the other players. Culturally, the men are kind of like disrespectful, so they don't like hold doors for women or anything. And it was a little different. And my coaches, some of the women coaches would tell me stuff, because it was like they can talk to us because we're Americans about like the disrespect they received, and they hit the players also.
Yeah.
So
what?
Yeah.
Hold up.
You in the practice, and all of a sudden you hear.
They slapping the shit
They
out
distract
of
you. The translator would come and talk to me so you wouldn't see it. It was Americans that were like, yo, we're gonna leave if you do that. Don't do that around me.
They thought the distraction.
Man, they like so you translators like
and you like that's crazy. That's crazy right there.
But that's their that's their culture.
That is wild.
I did that, and you have to they stare a lot. A lot of times it's the first time people are seeing people of color. They want to touch your hair.
So did you feel kind of like, was the depiction on Love and Basketball
real?
Was that like, like the coaches talking, and then you sit there like what they said, they give you the ball. Like,
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. That's what it is. After Korea, I didn't know any Korean, and I learned how to count and say bathroom and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything. And so he was saying all types of crazy stuff. And then the translator, I knew when she was stressed when they told her not to tell me, because I'm like, Simi, what do you say? Like she was stressed about it. So when I went to Spain, though, that was like the best. I played 3 seasons for a team, Los Casadas, and I'm from New York, so Spanglish. I can understand a little bit, but they were like super competitive. The culture, the party scene and everything. It's lit. The Spaniards, they eat like 9 to 12, right? Go to the bar from 12 to 2. Then the party is from 2 to like 5 in the morning. I said, man, I can't keep up with this. This is crazy.
The game today, like you seen the game evolve from when you played when you was younger all the way to now watching the WNBA now. Girls is dunking. Girls got, and some of the shots that girls are taking from range and it's evolving like the men's game is evolving. Like, what you think about the women's game now?
I think it's amazing. It's the athleticism. I just hope, they really focus a little. The thing that made us special is always the skills, but now we're getting the physicality. So like now we're just, trying to do the dunks and doing the fancy showboating type stuff. But I knew the game changed. I always tell people this. It was 2011, my last season in the league. And I was having a good season. I was playing out in San Antonio with Becky Hammond, and we played LA. Me and Candace talking before the game. I'm like, all right, she gonna do her thing, I'm gonna do mine. She caught the ball in the post, and I was guarding her. It was like a switch off, guarding her. She did something so quick, I didn't know where the hell I was.
Lost sight of it.
And that's when I was like, man, the athleticism is real. Like these players, she's playing the 3. I'm a 3. I'm 6'2". She's like 6'4".
Yeah.
She's agile, putting the ball on the floor. And then I look at like Elena Deladon. I know people get mad when I say this, and I told Elena's dad, I'm like, 2 best players in the league, in my opinion, is her and Candace Parker.
Yeah.
But lately I've been mad because, people try to hate on my girl a little bit, Candace. But I think those 2 are the best 2 in the league.
Deladon, I wanted her to go to UConn so bad, but I understood her reason. But I just wanted to see her at UConn so bad.
It was her number 1, right? I teased her when I saw this summer Tennessee. She was gonna come to Tennessee.
Oh, she was gonna go to Tennessee.
Yeah. I think that was her number 1. I remember.
Man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Man, that would have been special.
she's something else.
And it's quiet.
And Candace Parker. Candace Parker is dope.
Candace, that's Chicago. You feel me?
Oh yeah, that's the shot town.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, I'm gonna take that one. You went to Whitney Young, Dominique Canty.
Oh yeah, Tasha Pointer.
Oh yeah, Tasha.
Yeah. So that's how, like, when I first got into the women's basketball, I'm telling you, you was doing your thing, and then when I got to Whitney Young my sophomore year, Dominique Canty had just left. She was McDonald's and all of that. Then right after her, Tasha P. And it's like she was like you. She used to play with us, and that's who Cappy grew up watching her.
Oh, that games are kind of
that's who Cap. That's why she went to Rutgers and everything. Like she grew up under. They both from the West Side, and like Tasha P. was for real. She had the whole city. They knew. Shout out Tasha P. Man.
Shout out Tasha P.
She coaching now. She coaches at UIC in Chicago.
What do you think about women's sports? They're getting equal pay, not really equal pay, but more money, like something to make sure they're really living a good life and they can really take care of the things that they need to take care of.
I think it's up to the leagues to find out a way how to generate more revenue. It's easy to say, I think we should get paid more, but if I go to a game or an event, like, okay, how many people are in the stands? If how many people are buying merchandise and jerseys and things like that? So how can we sell it and make it more marketable? I think that's the key. I know people will go out there and they work hard. They work hard and give their all. Why should they? They always say, why do I have to go overseas? Why I got to go across this water? You know what I'm saying? So hopefully now, I know the league is trying to figure out more ways to generate revenue.
I always felt like when I played in the NBA, I used to go to the sports games. I played in Cleveland. I used to practice with the team and always go to their games. I feel like the NBA players need to like support the WNBA player. Not just, I know it was a lot at the All-Star game, but like in general over the summer, I feel like we need to support their game, like that game too, because we playing the same thing. We fell in love with the same ball. And I feel like if NBA players supported a little bit more, that definitely will give a little bit more help into like, I can see LeBron James or this player or that player at a basketball game or at the WNBA games and all through the playoffs, because the playoffs be lit.
Yeah, it do. But
like
you're
WNBA
right.
playoffs be lit.
I started to see more guys, and when I played, I would tell the guys to come out. And you know what happens? They start having daughters, and then they did the campaign with the NBA guys.
They're the ones that gotta go.
Yeah, they like, man, my little CJ, what's his name? CJ Watson, Tennessee guy. Yeah. Man, he always at the Aces games with his daughters. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, all right, I see you, CJ.
Have you got a chance to check out Kobe's daughter?
Oh, no, I haven't. I hear she's nice, but, I was like, man, she a UConn fan. Come on now.
Right. She loving on the enemy.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Candace. Gotta send her the other direction.
Straight out. I like that. I got a fun question for you.
All right.
If you had to pick you and 4 other girls from the Tennessee history of basketball to play against Pat Summitt and the rest of the girls, who would the other 4 girls be?
Okay, I'm going with myself, Chamique, Candace Parker, and I'm a rock. Ooh, I need a guard. I gotta think another guard. I'm a rock with my point guard. She's the new Tennessee head coach, Kelly Jolly. I'm a rock with her. You need that general, out there. But man, we got Candace and we got some players.
Start, cut, or bench. Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Diana Taurasi. Who do you start? Who do you cut? Who do you bench?
So we got Taurasi, Cheryl Swoops, and who's the other one?
Cynthia Cooper.
Oh man, I'm starting Taurasi. I'm a bench Swoops, and
you don't cut Cynthia Cooper.
No. I'm a bench Cynthia and I'm a cut Swoops. Look, man, they might come after me after that one. But I've never seen a player, honestly, like Diana got ice in her veins, man. That Italian, I played for an Italian coach in New York, and I got a lot of Italian friends, hot blooded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those they like us. They come with it.
Right.
She don't back down, and she speaks her mind, and I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a rock with her.
So I'm interested in this, since you was and are considered one of the GOATs, you know what I'm saying, in the WNBA females basketball, period. Who is your GOAT in the NBA? Who is your GOAT?
My GOAT, damn.
If you could only choose one, Kareem, Mique, Magic, Kobe, LeBron.
Oh man, everybody knows this. This is no surprise. Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
I love Kobe Bryant.
The Mamba.
And, when I played here in LA, just getting to see his work ethic. The season's over, and we're started, so we practice at 10. Kobe would take maybe a week or two off back in the gym, and he would work out from 8 to 10. So I'm sitting there, if I got there early for treatment or whatever, go in the gym, watch Kobe work out, real slow, methodic, working on his post-up moves. You see him doing sprints and stuff with his trainer, but no other guys were there. It was the same thing when I was in DC. I couldn't believe when Gilbert Arenas came, that he worked so hard. I'd never seen any other guy there shooting. We had a little fobs, and I would go take my friends because they knew the security.
Right.
You come in, so they would let my guy friends in there, and I'm like, man, now I'm in the gym with Gilbert a lot, because he really is here working. So it was cool. And then to see Kobe, you look at him, I'm the greatest, but not always the greatest. Work so hard,
Right.
He was getting it in, and his dad was cool too. He was my coach, Jelly Bean. So, just to, one day he was like, Kobe lives here in Newport Beach, whatever. He got a helicopter and stuff. And he was just like, this man, he's like, he could be on any beach right now. He could be anywhere in the world, but he's in the gym. You know what I'm saying? He's in there, come on. After the season, where were you guys? I would have been gone, bye. Man. And he's working. So I just really was a big fan. But before him, it was Mique, of course.
Yeah.
It's Mique.
When you came up, what female did you see that you was like, I'm patting my game after her?
Female. I'm probably going to say the Cheryl Miller. I used to watch her a lot, especially when Coach Summitt gave me the tapes. After that, it was Teresa Edwards. I liked her ball handling. She had some nice moves. And then leadership-wise, I took a little bit of everything from everybody. Dawn Staley. I mean, she just knew the game, Yeah, and I never forget, one day she just grabbed me on my shirt. She's like, just follow me. Follow me. You're in good shape. I'm going to get you to where you got to be. And I respected that because me coming in, man, a lot of people hated on me. I wanted that support, help me, show me the way, but it was like,
you know how it, you're the best, and everybody's saying you the best.
Yeah.
So I know they ready for you. Can't wait to see you.
They ain't trying to help or anything. So I was just kind of out there by myself, but when she said that, I was like, all right, cool, because it is great. I was used to that, coming from that type of environment in college. Pros, it was kind of tough, and I had to figure out a lot of things on my own, make some mistakes, learn.
The first time you met Michael Jordan, how did that make you feel? When you first met the GOAT?
Was you stuck?
Listen, well, I was stuck. I was shook. So we were playing. I want to say we were playing DePaul in Chicago. So it's a whole Tennessee team, and I noticed the Nike lady on the bus, Ray Pond, and she's like, "All right, we're gonna make a stop." Coach Summitt, we're gonna make a stop somewhere. We're gonna visit some offices, and so I swore I saw Harpo. So I'm like, we're gonna go meet Oprah, right? Then all of a sudden we get to this floor, and they're like, "Chamique, come to the front. Come up here." And we open it. Someone opens the door. It's Michael Jordan, and sitting at his desk. And we go in, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this is so real." I got all the posters as a kid, And he looks at me. He's like, "Come here, come on." He looks at me and said, "Damn, what size shoe you in?" And I said, 13. And he said, "We wear the same size. You got some big feet, girl." So, it was cool. Definitely someone I have a lot of respect for or whatever, until he became the president of my team and wanted to yell at me all the time. But he taught me a valuable lesson. One time I was having some difficulties with my coach, and he called me. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. "Oh, Michael wants you to come to his office." I'm like, "All right, let me go." He's puffing on a cigar. And I'm like, "Put that out, man. It's early in the morning." He's like, "Shut up and sit down." He's like, "Let me tell you something. When I first came into the league," well, first he said, "I support you." You know what I'm saying? As a Nike athlete, whatever, I've been a supporter of yours. He goes, "Don't you ever, ever, ever have a public battle with your coach. You shut up. and you just play your game. The fans are going to get rid of the coach. And he started to tell me about his experience when he was younger with Coach Collins. I think it was Doug Collins. And he was like how he had some adjustments. They didn't really get along and stuff. And, you know, I took that, you know, humble pie. Michael Jordan's talking to you. And ever since then, I never said anything about another coach. You know, just let them do. Only thing you can do is be responsible for your play and your effort.
Yeah. Coming from New York, everybody got a nickname. Like when you was younger, did they used to call you like Flat Out?
Oh man, I had a bunch of. Well, everybody, you know,
what's a couple of them that
what's your favorite?
Shaq, and what's it? First pick. First pick because every time I hit the court, you know, when I first started playing, none of the guys wanted to pick me. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, oh, everybody's eyes is open. Be like, who got the first pick? I pick her. And so this dude was in the park. He's like, shit, that's right. You first pick now.
Everybody, that's hard. That's
first
hard
pick,
right
man.
there.
Top 5 women's basketball player ever. If you had to pick 5 of
Excluding
the top 5.
you.
All right, 5. Okay. I'm going to go. We in L.A., so I got to go with Lisa Leslie. I got to go with Cheryl Swoops. You know, just the culture. I'm going to add Cheryl Miller, Taurasi, and I'm going to go with Dawn Staley. You need a good point guard. You need a general. So that's my 5.
That's
you
a
know,
dope 5.
I like that 5.
Candace still playing. I think, you know, at the end of it all, she'll step
somebody.
in there. She'll replace somebody. But yeah, that's my 5.
I respect that.
You speak on mental health issues, and me thinking back in the day, and me being an adult now, and looking back on it, I see like mental health issues, and like not only like myself, but I feel like everybody can talk to somebody. Right. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's definitely a thing that we need to talk about. I see the NBA has got them on every team now, which is a blessing because you just need somebody to talk to, never knowing what anybody going through.
Right.
Can you speak up on like the mental health like that you talk about, and the speaking that you do and so forth on?
It's about, you know, wellness, you know, being in a good place, you know, mind, body, and spirit. You know, us as athletes, if we look at athletes, we are put in a grinder, you know, we want to jump higher. You could probably say, all right, I got to work on this, you know. I got to work on my body, and you in the gym working on everything physically, you know, but you're dealing with so much pressure and stress, you know, newfound success, dealing, you know, with family and friends, everybody needing something, everybody wanting something, relationships. It's a lot to bear, you know, if you have children. So why not, you know, decompress? Why not want to be the best you and open up and really take care of the mental? It's a part of your body, but for some reason, you know, it's a detach. And I remember when I first started talking about the challenges that I had, everybody thought I was like crazy, you know, and it was like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. She's a problem. Man, I was really, really in a bad place, you know, and, you know, having like suicidal ideations, and it really, to an extent, impacted my career, you know, and the person I was becoming, somebody I didn't know. I felt like I couldn't talk to nobody. Talk to my cousin. Girl, how you sad? You made it. You know, da-da-da-da. You know, and you try to put on that coat to be brave, you know, and y'all black men, so I can only imagine, you know, how y'all carry that extra weight also. I had to realize that, you know, looking at my brother and close friends. So I'm like, yo, we got to get to a place where we just take care of ourselves. We talk about the issues and things that we're dealing with. You may not can talk to your best friend, but you know what? You can sit there, talk to somebody, a therapist, somebody's not going to judge you, you know? So I'm just glad now in sports leagues that they have these things. I think football, because of the concussions, the pressure that was on them, were like the first league to talk about these things. But for me, it was changing the narrative. I got tired of successful athletes. You know, we have great careers. We've had some problems while we've been on teams, but no one has ever pushed us to get the help because they needed us as the product, you know? They need to get that talent. But then you retire, you got issues off the court, you know, all that, you stuck, but you had the resources, they had you could have been helped, you know. And so I just really try to get out there and just really help these young kids, you know.
I feel like with athletes, like, you know, we got a lot of pressure and so forth on, but like people just living regular lives, like the smallest thing can a person can get traumatized from that. It can depress them, or it can stress them out. You know what I'm saying? It can be from a bill that you need to pay that you don't got the money. It can be stressing you out. It can be from the smallest thing, and it can traumatize a person. It can go on for years and years and years, and that person can hold it in. Right. But when they can talk to somebody and kind of like release it and move on from it, everybody don't get that. People quick to say like, oh man, you go and talk to somebody like a doctor or something like that, and they be like, oh, I'm not crazy.
Yeah,
you don't gotta be crazy, but you just want to talk to somebody to kind of get some understanding, whether it's in a relationship or anything.
I mean,
you might be fighting in a relationship, and then it's like, man, I need to understand where she coming from, and I can't. Right. If she said it's like I take it another way, but if you said it's like I believe it.
That's how I was. Like I was the stubborn one, like talking about go get anger management or whatever, because I lost my brother when I was the Knicks, and I was wild, and I was wilding outwardly, like raging out at everybody, teammates and everybody. I'm cool with everybody, so like, man, I remember getting into it one time with Mo Taylor. We hooping, he scored, he said something, just hooping, and I went crazy, tried to throw the ball. He was like, "Q, fuck," like, and like Mo Taylor 6'9" could have like mashed me up, and he was really like, but he was looking at me like, yo,
because that's not you,
like you tripping, and I was like, wasn't trying to hear it, so they tried to make me go. I remember them trying to make me go to the thing, and I was like, no, I'm not about to talk to this lady. Like, I want to talk to somebody. I talk to my sister. I talk to my pa. I talk to one of my. But it's like that whole us as coming from the hood we come from. We come up like crazy. That's for TV. You talk to mental people on TV, and so I ain't crazy, man. I just holler at my pops or my sister if I'm feeling, what I'm saying. So that's how I was. No. But then it was like, it's like you say, when you get older, it's kind of like the same thing. You sprain your ankle, you go get treatment. You ice your ankle, you know what I'm saying? You get treatment for that. Like, why, if you're, if your heart is hurting or your brain is hurting, why you don't go seek that treatment for that? So, you know what I'm saying? I began to understand that when I got older. And, I'm glad with them having former players like you and Keon and different people. And, the Kevin Loves, the DeMar DeRozan, stepping forward, like it's making it a lot more comfortable and acceptable for these kids that's coming up as opposed to how we were. We were all, like you said, we were bearing it like, man, I'm too tough to do that. Like, now it's like that kind of veil has been pulled down, and it's like, it's okay to do this. That's even more courageous to do this almost. So I'm glad to see that. And
y'all have children, right?
Yeah.
Having kids. So, when working with these kids in the school, I remember the first time I got a call, come to a school, I get kind of choked up. 9-year-old commit suicide in the school. Oh. And, you get there and, you're asking, like what happened is things like bullying, and then you see it happen again in the news and again and again. Yeah. And it's like, man, we got to talk about these things. Yeah. I run into ignorant parents, man. Like, my kid has everything. Yeah. Like, what? This kid is, in high school and has a Mercedes. And the mother, it's a dad, right? One situation, dad's is going off and he walks away and the mother's like, starts crying. I got to get my kid some help, It's just like, come on, like, you have the resources. There's a lot of programs now. There's no reason to suffer in silence, I feel in my case, for my family, I bear the burden. I went through a lot. And in my family, you damage relationships. People don't understand. They don't think it's real.
Right.
And, I got to the point where I'm like, I'm going to do this work. It hurt because I had to really, like, follow my protocol, say, what the doctors were saying, work through a lot of stuff, but to help my family, so my little cousins, if I decide to have kids, they don't have to deal with that. I'm going to be better prepared.
Yeah.
So talk about, you in the podcast game in the space and talk about what you're doing and what you're bringing to us.
Right. So I signed on with American Public Media, Minnesota Public Radio, to do a podcast. I think the first season is like 6 episodes. And so I will be interviewing and chatting it up with other athletes who have, experienced some mental health concerns, all different sports. So the first one we recorded a couple of weeks ago. My childhood friend, Meta. I hate saying Meta. Ron Artest.
I've never called him
Ron Artest. So I'm looking forward to it. They reached out to different athletes and got a lot of great feedback or whatever. So I'm just looking forward to who's going to be sitting in the chair next.
That's awesome.
You the 5th woman to score 3,000 points in NCAA history.
Wow.
Like when you... Like, to achieve that, what's that?
It's only 5 of y'all.
It's only 5 of y'all.
Man,
like
That's pretty ill.
Right.
Like that's pretty ill. I just remember, I think I scored like 3,025 or something like that, right?
Buckets.
And then I just remember me being a big Allen Houston fan, right? And they're like, oh, you know, you're Tennessee's all-time leading scorer. That's the only thing I remember. But I was a
Shout
Knicks
out
fan. You know,
H2O.
that's, man, Allen, I was like, dang, I wish I had that jumper like that.
When we got to the league, we seeing all these players, and we watched the game. And so when we seen Allen Houston, he was down there, and he was going through a shooting regimen before the game.
Not missing.
I'm talking about everything. He wasn't even hitting the rim. So then he came, we spoke to him and stuff, and we looked at his shoes. He just had H2O on his shoes. Like,
Water.
I was like, man, that's the hardest.
This boy got the hardest
He got the hardest symbol on his shoes ever.
With his number 20, I was like,
oh man, it looks so hard.
It's nice, man. He's really good. I saw him a couple months ago in Tennessee, so that was dope.
Stephon Marbury, I know you got the chance to see.
We the same year.
Marbury is considered the best New York player ever to play.
Marbury?
Yeah. I consider Marbury to be.
I think she has a different opinion.
I love Steph. I think Steph is a great player. I mean, the same year. Like, he's a legend. But come on, Kenny Anderson. Come on.
Kenny A.
Man, that's before your time a little bit. But
I love Kenny A.
He's the culture. I mean, Stephon might say that Kenny Anderson is.
I understand that, but me being from the outside looking in, like, the best New York player I ever seen come out of New York, to me, is probably Stephon Marbury.
Okay. All right, yeah. I mean, Steph is nice, man. We had so many, though. Like, Steph is at the point guard. Okay, I'll give him that. But at that time, high school, we had Felipe Lopez. Shout out to Felipe.
He's a
you seen that 30 for 30 just did on him,
Dominican sensation.
Boy.
Yeah, he reigned. His name reigned across the lands, too. Like, Felipe definitely reigned across the lands. Like, Kenny definitely reigned across the lands.
Look at a lot, bro.
Yeah,
Especially
they got a lot.
They point guard player.
Lamar ran across the land.
Yeah, Kareem Reed, Artest.
Sham God. Y'all had.
Man, Sham 1 is the M1 mixtape.
Come
on.
Before it was
Man,
M1 mixtape. Then y'all had Skip, Rafe.
I thought Rafe's real name was Skip to my Lou. Everybody called him Skip to my Lou.
Yeah, he was nice, man. We had a lot of players. But y'all Chicago, too. I always say it's about New York and Chicago. When street basketball
I try to tell
players.
people all the
it
time,
really is.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I respect that. Like, I'm from Illinois, so hopefully I'm part of that list of players.
You like one of them distant cousins and everything. We might let you come to the barbecue.
But I won Mr. Basketball for Illinois, and you
one
didn't.
Ooh, shots
I won
fired.
Mr. Basketball for Illinois, and you didn't. That's all we need.
But it's changing. It's just like,
you know how it's political.
Yeah, and for both of us being from Chicago and New York, basketball is kind of taking a dip because all these Atlanta, Georgia, the suburbs, they stealing our guys.
Yeah.
Man, New York's basketball is like down.
Oh, yeah,
we still right here.
You know who
really?
been,
Chicago still, we pumping them.
Yeah, you still
pumping them out.
You know who been pumping them out a lot though lately, and most of the players that's the superstars in the league are California, like the LA area and so forth. You got all these guys from LA that's really in the league, like a bunch of them. Like from the Trevors, from the Westbrooks, the James Harden, the Paul George,
Oh yeah, you're right.
the Kawhis, it's a bunch of them, and they pushing out these days. Shout out to California.
For real, we gotta get back. Come on, New York.
So I don't know how much of a big yak drinker you are, but we got gracious sponsors Hennessy, and we got the VSOP, and we got the special edition Knuckleheads bottle. We want to show our appreciation for you coming out.
Right.
The Queen coming
thank
out.
you.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
saying?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Add it to my bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's a wrap, man. Out here in L.A., California, we had one of the GOATs. Chamique Holdsclaw came through, held it down with the blackest one in myself. We appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank
This was hey, for real, this was special. You don't understand. Like, we really, really respect and we historians, so we watched you. We was close in years, not the same year, but I was definitely and still am a big time, lifelong fan of all that you did. We definitely watched you do your thing and put it down.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We definitely love to have you.
Thank you.
Y'all check it out. Y'all young girls, tune in. This is what it's about. Tune in. Check it out.